What's up? I was going to record myself walking outside, but it's like a million degrees in Texas right now, so not going to do that. Today we're talking about the new Stephen King adaptation, The Long Walk. This movie stars Cooper Hoffman, David Johnson, Mark Hamill, amongst many others. As I already mentioned, this is another Stephen King movie adaptation. Now, I don't know how to read, so I definitely did not read the book to compare this to. I did hear pretty good things about this one online, but without seeing these positive reviews, I don't think that I would have seen this on my own. That being said, the theater was pretty packed for a 9:30 p.m. showing, which surprised me. This movie was decent. I would even say good, but it definitely wasn't great. I feel like this one had a lot of really great moments sprinkled in, but definitely not enough for it to be considered great. This one was surprisingly emotional at some points, and David Johnson's performance was excellent. But despite David Johnson's performance and some of the good moments in this movie, the ending was underwhelming and kind of put this movie in the mid-tier for me. Now, I'm going to be talking about some major spoilers here, so if you haven't seen the movie yet, go take a long walk or skip to the end of this video. I think this one did a pretty good job at setting the stakes early. The audience was immediately made aware that they were not messing around with this one. The early deaths were incredibly gruesome and violent, which I definitely didn't expect. I think the concept of this movie was pretty cool, but I just don't think it was executed very well, which could be a poor adaptation of what was in the book. Now, I love Cooper Hoffman, but in this movie, his character was pretty bland and uninteresting. David Johnson, however, was definitely a force. His acting carried a lot of the really emotional moments in this film. He had a lot of monologues as well that he did an excellent job with. The only nitpick that I can even think of is his accent, which I could not place at all. I do want to give a brief shout out to Mark Hamill and Judy Greer. Mark Hamill obviously is just an absolute legend. I love the way he changed his voice in this film. I feel like his character wasn't so much scary, but more mysterious and kind of narcissistic. And Judy Greer's performance stood out to me, even being such a minor character. I had only really seen her in comedic roles like Arrested Development, so seeing her play such a dramatic role so well absolutely surprised me. Now, I didn't really care for a lot of the characters that were a part of the group in the beginning of this movie, but as their numbers started whittling down, I found myself starting to get more and more concerned about these guys dying. This was especially true when Hank died. His death was devastating. After Hank's death, I feel like a lot of the remaining guys were just kind of thrown out of the story for no reason. Their deaths definitely didn't hit me as hard as Hank's. As far as a positive aspect of this film, I do think that the brotherhood between Peter and Garrity was really well done and absolutely carried by the performances from Hoffman and Johnson. Now, moving on to the ending of this film, I have to say that I was disappointed and pretty let down by it. I've heard that Stephen King doesn't really write very good endings to begin with. I did think it was pretty silly for Peter to give Garrity this whole speech about choosing love and, not seeking revenge, just for him to end up doing exactly that at the end. The theme of revenge definitely tied into some of the larger themes in this film of political violence. Now, obviously, this movie came out at an interesting time where recent current events has political violence in the back of everyone's minds right now. So with that context in mind, I can see where this movie's message might be wildly different for a lot of different people. As for my final thoughts, I do think that this movie was good, but there was a lot that could have been done better. The acting from David Johnson and Cooper Hoffman definitely carried the movie for the most part. I don't think that this film was worth the theater ticket price. I feel like a lot of people are going to be totally okay with seeing this once it releases digitally. I gave this one a 3.5 on Letterboxd. Now, being that I can't compare it to the book myself, I'm wondering, what were the major differences? Was the ending different? Were the characters changed in any major way? For those of you that did not read the book, do you guys agree with me on any of my points? What did you guys think of the ending? As always, I appreciate all of you that have watched up to this point, and make sure you argue with me in the comments.